3, 2, 1, action.
Karnessia, I gotta look at you. I'm gonna take a deep breath. I'm gonna hold my head up. I'm gonna put my shoulders back and look you straight in the eye. I'm gonna, that's it. Anita Avery Norman is definitely her mama's daughter, her daddy's girl. She's a big believer in light and truth and song and jump roping and chocolate-covered pretzels. Anita Norman loves people, loves God, and dreams big. I am Anita Norman. I like being characters. I like having to think deeply about what makes a person do what they do. And in relation to that, why do I do what I do? So when I have an opportunity to represent a voice on a stage where people are looking and they're being really critical, I like having to push forward an idea, to bring joy, to bring pain, to bring storytelling, to bring a narrative that may or may not be accepted. It's challenging, but it's also a way to release what I sometimes don't feel like I can release. As Anita, I get to take off the mask and put somebody else's face on, somebody else's skin, somebody else's hair, somebody else's clothes. And so, sometimes people might say, well, that means you're insecure. That means you're not comfortable in who you are. But what I found is that's the way that I can most comfortably search and discover why I think the way I do. Because in knowing how I react to something, I can counter that against how somebody else reacts to something, and I get to tell that story. And we don't take the time to tell or inquire about other people's stories. Acting is my way of connecting. And so I think my relationships are much deeper when I've gone through a character and gone through a scene and thought about what they might think about. And in that flow, I really feel like I'm doing something. I feel like I can truly make an impact when I get people to really look and really see. What do you see? Why do you see that? What else can you see? In my cup, I have theater, word, which is a spoken word group. I have jump roping, eating, grapefruit juice, breath of life, which is a singing group for the Black church at Yale. Also in my cup, I've got the Black Solidarity Conference. How did I get to this space right here? I walked. No, I'm just right now I feel really happy. So I would say I got here by having to struggle and having to work really hard, but also know, like Yale is not, it's not the it of my life. It is not the central aspiration. So I can rejoice in knowing that I have more to do. There's a complexity to the idea that this place wasn't meant for me, but I'm still here. and I still get to learn and grow and run my fingers along the walls because I am here, right? So to be Anita Norman at Yale means infinity and beyond. I can do whatever. And I look at all the beautiful people around me, and I look at the relationships that have formed in my year here, and I think about my parents and how much they love me and how hard they work so their little people can be people, can exist in a competitive world. But then I think about Yale, and I think about poetry. Poetry brought me here. My ability to interpret and to speak. God brought me here. I'm not anything special, and so much of, what I think makes this a reality for me is because his hand is somewhere in my soul, just running his paintbrush on my story. I'm here because I'm supposed to be. No matter what anybody else says, I'm here to find out what's next. What else can I get into? Where else will you see me? Again, what makes me happy? I'm here to discover that. So Poetry Out Loud is a national oratory competition.
I am not who I was.
And I think the original intention was just to get people memorizing poems, standing up, speaking, being comfortable in that, learning how to read a text and critically assess what it's about. I think for me, it became a way for me to step out of my awkwardness. I have a severe anxiety talking to people and being vulnerable, and I'm one to giggle and smile and make small talk, but I won't stick around for the real conversations because I don't feel like I can have them. So, one of the neat things about the competition, I won with this poem called The Layers by Stanley Kunitz. And, he's a real, at the time that he wrote the poem, he's real old, 80s, 90s. He died in his hundreds. But people would always comment and say, Anita, how is it possible that you're able to connect with this poem from this old white man? It's this little black girl from Tennessee. And I think about the importance of narratives and sharing, and how lonely you can feel, and how I've always felt lonely in most situations. And Poetry Out Loud was my opportunity to stand on stage and make a declaration about who I am. And it's not anything specific. I'm short, curly black hair. So you see the physical, but you also get to see that I have something to say and that I'm really passionate about it. And it doesn't matter what I'm saying. I guess that was my opportunity to really dig deep into a text and decide, okay, this is what I think, and I'm going to be confident with it. And that's okay. And it can be received in any sort of way, and I happen to win, but that's not the important part. The important part is that I had a thought, and then I got to communicate it, and the audience had to listen. And so how do I demand the same thing and every day walking and every day talking? So my favorite story is that of Celie from The Color Purple. And Suge Avery says, we walk by a field, I'm not getting the quote right, but we walk by a field and don't notice the color purple, and that pisses God off. And I think about the little things and the color purple and Anita, and I think about flowers and growing. And Celie in the show, she says, I'm gonna take a deep breath. I'm gonna take a deep breath. I'm gonna hold my head up. I'm gonna put my shoulders back. I'm gonna look you straight in the eye. and how hard it is to take yourself as who you are and to take other people as who they are. And that's what Yale has taught me, that there are so many colored purples in this world, little flowers, little gems that, you know, you look at and say, you know, what is that? Who is that? Who do they think they are? You know, who do I think I am? Right? I'm the color purple. Notice me, see me, take me, everything. Look me in the eye, and I'll look you in the eye. And if we meet people in that way, at that place, so much more could be accomplished. You know, Yale has a long rap sheet of accomplishments and accomplished people. But how much more can be done when you look at the purple flower and say, hey, you are beautiful. Let's rock it. Let's do this. And so I've had to examine myself and see myself the same way. That's hard. I'm storytelling, whether that's on stage or on paper or in song. It's like silky smooth caramel chocolate ice cream with espresso chunks. Because I think I bring in a lot of flavor and perspective and energy to what I'm doing that makes it extremely personal and expressive for me and hopefully for the viewer. But it's also a gift. It's also little chunks of Anita dropped wherever I go. Not because I want someone to remember me or remember the story that I'm telling even, but, you know, like Maya Angelou said, you know, people will not always remember what you say, but they'll definitely remember how you made them feel. And I want people to feel like somebody listened, somebody cared. That's the espresso chunks, that I'm leaving these gifts of sight. I see you, I feel you, I understand. I think you're worthwhile. And that in itself is a message to myself. Anita, you are special, you're a real thing, you're powerful. Come on, push through, leave a gift, leave a gift. It's not about you, leave a gift. I gotta give, that's all I'm here for. I don't have a lot of time for taking. I'll take some love every now and again, but I gotta give.